I love acoustic guitar. It's probably my spirit instrument. I've played it, recorded it more than anything else, with the exception of maybe my own voice. I love it a lot. Now, if you are a purist and you can only ever envision yourself recording one acoustic guitar per song, one acoustic guitar track, maybe you make it sound amazing, but you never want to go past the one acoustic, great, good for you. Run along now. For the rest of us, there's a lot of production value in an acoustic guitar. We can do a lot with an acoustic guitar by layering more than one. You can take the same guitar, but recording it multiple times and figuring out ways to make it even more massive than it already is as an instrument is a really, really fun pastime of mine. And today I want to share with you 4 ways that I like to layer acoustic guitars. But first, I have a happy for you. This is my ultimate recording or ultimate production checklist. It's a single page. It's meant to download, print out, and keep with you when you're recording, because when you get stuck, you got your guitar in your hand and you're thinking, what do I need to record next? This will give you ideas of what to record next. It's completely free and it'll get you on my email list. Just go to homestudiocorner.com/checklist to get your free copy. All right, let's jump in. So one thing I got to say up front is sometimes one guitar is all you need. Sometimes you truly only need one acoustic guitar. I was going through a bunch of my songs and realized on especially the bigger productions with lots of other instruments, a lot of times there will be just one acoustic guitar. However, on a more acoustic focused tune, I might use 2 or as many as like 8 or more acoustic guitar tracks. And I want to challenge you to think of it this way. For me, acoustic guitar is the instrument I love playing the most. So I want to be hesitant to put it down. If I've got one guitar track that's working, before I reach for another instrument, either an electric guitar or a keyboard or a synth or something else, I always like to just check and see, is there at least one or maybe more other acoustic guitar parts that I could add to this song? I can always take them away later, but I might stumble across something really cool. So give yourself, if you're used to just recording one guitar track, then putting the guitar away and moving on, I want to challenge you to try to add a few more and see what happens. Layering trick number 1 is what I'm calling the pure double. This is where you take a part that sounds good and you just record it again on another track, then take one of them and pan them left, one of them and pan them right. Basically, it's the exact same guitar part played twice. By the way, I am not saying duplicate the actual audio onto a new track. Don't do that. Link to a video explaining why. Instead, I'm saying record it and then just do that again on another track. Record it again and then pan one to the left, one to the right. The slight differences in timing between the two performances give it this great stereo width, and there's really nothing like it. So here's the first acoustic part. And I think, that's nice, let me record it again. So I just literally like run it back, record again on another track, pan the first one left, pan the second one to the right, and you end up with this gloriousness. Just for giggles, those guitar parts are actually also doubled kind of on electric guitar, because this song is massive. It sounds like this. But let's move on. Layering trick number 2 is what I'll call the different double. This is the same concept as the first one, but instead of recording the exact same part on the second track, you record it differently. Now, an easy way to do that with acoustic guitar is just slap on a capo and record it at a higher voicing. You could also like try to play it differently or do bar chords up the neck, but a capo is an easy way to do that. Here's the original part. I believe this is just the guitar in C with no capo. So here's the first guitar. And then here is the second guitar. I believe this was capoed on maybe the 5th fret, played in G. Nothing earth-shattering, same rhythm, same chord changes, just one is voiced up a little bit. When you pan them left and right from each other, it gets you the same kind of cool stereo width that you get with the regular double, but there's like an added extra texture to it. This can be especially helpful if you find that your two doubles are so similar that it kind of sounds a little phasey. I find that happens when I'm recording like open tuning like DADGAD. Sometimes the double doesn't work as well. Slap a capo on there and change the voicing and you shouldn't have those phase problems anymore. Okay, layering trick number 3 is what I'm calling the triple. This is where you take your original track, leave it up the middle, but then record doubles with a capo on the side. So left and right are the same thing, but they're capoed up from the center track. Let's hear what that sounds like. Here's my center track. I already played that for you. But instead of one capo track panned opposite, we have 2 panned hard left and right that sound like this. Gives it this nice chimey feel. But if you add in the center guitar without the capo, now you've got 3 guitars and it's just glorious. This is helpful, especially if you do a double and you realize that it almost leaves too much of a hole in the middle. Sometimes that happens. This is handy for that. It's also handy if you've got a guitar that you want to start with one guitar, but then make it wider on the choruses and then maybe take the wideness away. Instead of using automation to do that on 2 guitars, you can do that really easily by the way you arrange the 3 guitars. So for example, this verse, it's all guitars for the intro, and then when it comes to the verse, it drops down to just the center guitar, and then the 2 side guitars come back in, kind of off and on between phrases. Adds this cool element of dynamics, but also it really takes your stereo width, goes really narrow, and then spreads it back out. Here's what that sounds like. So this adds a whole new way of thinking about acoustic guitar. We don't have to have our guitar track going from the start of the song all the way to the end. We can have multiple tracks, and some of them come in and go out, and it can add a lot of dynamic and life to the track. And layering hack number 4, this is, I wouldn't count it in the same category as the other 3, but it needs to be included because it's a great thing to do, especially maybe once you've already done your doubling or your tripling. Maybe you want to still add some more because you just can't get enough. I'm right there with you. Add something melodic. So take your guitar, come up with a little riff. Doesn't have to be fancy. It can be something as simple as this. But that, combined with the other triplet guitars that we have, sounds kind of nice. Now you may wonder, Joe, why is that pan to the left? Because later, I bring in another melodic part that goes to the right. So I like to think in terms of buckets. If I've got a melodic thing in the left bucket, I could put another one in the right bucket, perhaps. Let's see what that one sounds like here. This is just a little silly little riff that I honestly didn't even play that well. But when all these guitars come in together, it's kind of glorious. So suddenly we've gone from one guitar playing chords to multiple guitars coming in and out, and then some playing actual melodic parts. We've created hooks now. The guitar has gone from being just, you know, the workhorse of the session that's just playing through the chord chart to being an integral part of the whole production. Now, this song was on an acoustic project that I did where I really just wanted acoustic guitar, vocals, and maybe a little bit of hand percussion, but I wanted acoustic guitar to be the star, so this worked really well. If this was a big band thing with tons of electric guitars and whatnot, then all these guitars might not make sense, but it's worth experimenting and playing with this, because even if you don't use the tracks that you come up with in the final version, you've just practiced production a little bit more, and you'll find situations and songs where something like this does make sense, and you'll have that already in your memory. You can just pull up, say, what did I do on that one song? Yes, I did that cool thing. I'm going to do that here on this song. Bonus tip and a word of warning: this kind of process only works if you record to a click track, to some sort of a metronome, and if you are good at playing in time. If you don't like the first one, you're probably not good at the second one. I know, harsh words, but playing to a click means that it's going to stay at a steady tempo. It's much easier to play along to something that is also following a steady tempo than trying to play along to something that is speeding up and slowing down. Just trust me. Also, it's good practice to get good at playing in time with other instruments, because that's what music is to an extent. So why not practice that as well? If you find you do a double or a triple and you find that it's very sloppy sounding, chances are it's you. Practice playing in time. Simplify the performance. Try to just hit on the downbeat. Try to make sure you hit on the 1 and the 3, and then add in the 2 and the 4, and get more complicated with your rhythms as you get good at staying in that pocket. That's it for me for today. Final piece of advice. If you record your guitars direct, meaning you plug them in and record them that way, I beg of you, watch this video and never do that again. Thanks for watching. See ya.